We've got a lot of heart-pounding excitement today with Lucas Oil on the edge. $50,000 and a championship belt is on the line for the fastest door slammers on the planet. It's the American Drag Racing League Standout Pro Extreme class, and we've got every round of this great drag racing for you. If that's not enough, monster trucks will go head-to-head in an outdoor course at the biggest four-wheel drive event of the year. Let's get to it.
Go! Got it tacked up, and if you get too close, you're getting cracked up. Stone cold when I roll, coming out of the hole. Get back, cause I'm out of control. I'm on the edge.
This week, it's all about mad speed here with the Lucas Oil On the Edge show. We bring you the action from Ennis, Texas with the ADRL Pro Extreme Drag Race. These are the big dogs.
Yeah, that's right, Ken. The biggest, meanest, baddest door slammers on the property and in the world right here at Ennis, running the 1/8 of a mile. Now, they're running for $50,000 to win, but one of the most important things they're trying to do is they win the big belt, just like the prize fighters, baby.
We'll start off with the best of the best, and of course, we're talking about a two-time champ here, Jason Scruggs. 4 career wins, 9 career final rounds.
Competition is tough this year. Plus, on top of that, we've been struggling a lot, especially the last half of the year. We come out early, run pretty good early in the year, won a race. Then we really had a down at the last 3 or 4 races. We really went down, downhill. So we put a converter in the car. We're trying to make a comeback, but we're a little behind the 8 ball. We don't have a lot of testing with this combination, and we got to step it up a little this round against Wayne. He's always tough. We look like an underdog, but until they make us go home, we're not through yet. Anybody in the top 8, they all can run 360s. That tells you how tough the competition is out here.
And Quayne Stott, baby, the Lee Boy Paving Equipment Machine, 4 career wins, been in the final 8 times. His winning percentage is almost identical to Jason Scruggs.
Jason was the baddest of the bad, and he still is any given day. And he seems to be struggling a little bit right now, but I've seen Jason struggle and come back with a #1 qualifying shot many, many times. So you can bet I'm not taking him lightly.
Number 7 and number 8 going against each other here, and that's the way it shakes down. The top 8 get a shot to get into this race.
And that's what's really cool about the American Drag Racing League. By the way, we are in Ennis, Texas, and the Pro Extreme, what we're going to call the runoff, is not really round number 1. It is number 7 in qualifying and number 8. You're looking aboard the Speed Tech machine, and that is Jason Scruggs, and he'll match up with that Lee Boy Paving Equipment team car for Quayne Stott. Now, he talked about putting a torque converter in this machine. They recently this year, Jason Scruggs that is, teamed up with the group out of DeMont, Indiana, Larry and the Snyder family, Larry Snyder and Mick Snyder, and this is the first time this car's had a converter on board.
As Quayne Stott in the far lane, the Lee Boy back machine in flat black.
Coming off of an accident, and they brought that baby here in satin finish black.
One, you can see that thing move around, then he yanked up the front end one more time. 379 will be good enough to get Quayne Stott into the show.
Wow, everybody catches their collective breath on the starting line there. That baby was pretty wild. We'll watch it in replay. The Lucas Oil Products instant replay behind the race car. Look at that thing. You can almost read the side of it where it says Lee Boy. And I got to tell you, what actually got him in trouble when he put this thing in the wall was he was used to this car having a clutch. Went to throw the clutch in, guess what? It was the brake only. He put a converter in that car as well.
Taking you along for the ride, courtesy of General Tire. These things are amazingly quick. It's going to be a wild show. Plenty more to come.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast is being brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. Herculiner truck bed liners, when the tough comes easy.
And there's a look at your #1 qualifier, Joshua Hernandez, a beautiful 57 Chevrolet. 8 career wins. You can take a look at that winning percentage.
it's nighttime in Texas, and that thing's sticky out there. It's going to take every bit of horsepower that this hammer motor will put out, and we're going to try to lay it down. I've been a bridesmaid twice, and I'm tired of being the bridesmaid. You know, this crew, this whole rig, this entire team deserves to be in that winner's circle at the end of the night. I'm going to do my best to get them there.
And he definitely is one kid who deserves to be there. He's got Jim Audie spinning the wrenches on that thing. Charlie Taylor, former IHRA Pro Stock Kingpin, helps out on the chassis. You got Troy Critchley building the blowers, a lot of the motors. There is some great talent on that drag racing team right there. And as a result, they'll get the single right here. This car, by the way, recently purchased by the country in Bahrain is Bahrain 1 Racing.
Well, you mentioned some big names there, and Charlie Taylor, of course, Jim Audie, Troy Critchley, seasoned veteran. That is a great group behind the scenes, and of course, he puts the numbers up on the board because of it.
K.H. Altani coming up next. He's had 2 career wins in 2 career final rounds, and you want to know why? Just started driving a car this year. Is a gifted driver. He'll take on one of his own teammates in Todd Tutterow, who had all kinds of trouble back here after the burnout with that race car, and they're still working to get it going as KH will move forward to the starting line here. The best alcohol tuner in the business, Frank Ace Manzo, multi-time alcohol 20-car champion, the tuner, and this will be a single run as he'll just ease it on down there. And your defending world champion, Todd Tutterow, cannot make the call to the starting line.
Yeah, tough break. And Todd Tutterow's name is just synonymous with this category. He's been around for a long, long time, so that comes as a big surprise.
They don't call him 200-mile-per-hour Todd for nothing. And again, he's got that big number 1. You want to talk about a big number 1? Here's a guy that works at it as hard as anybody, Galen Smith, and that Lenmar Motorsports 57 Chevrolet, alongside one of the greatest guys in the lowest budget team, the Madman.
Frankie Taylor, of course, from Dickinson, Texas, run outlaw stuff for so many years, always put on a great show, and a great 8th mile racer.
We always call him Open Trailer Taylor, and he's got one of those brand new Larry Jeffers built race cars, and it is fast.
Woo! Getting it done. Dump the laundry. 365, 199.64 mile per hour. Great run there for Taylor.
That is one of the quickest and fastest cars in the world. And before the season was over with, was the first car ever in the 350s range. That brand new Jeffers Pro car for Frankie. 365 for the win. Quick time so far for the round. See the Jeffers Pro car logo as you go down track with Frankie.
Well, I'll tell you, that thing took him off to the right just a little bit. He had to steer it back, so there's some left in it.
Oh, that's a good race car.
All right, another look there at Quayne Stott. We met him a little bit earlier in the show, and another guy that's just been doing this forever out of Columbus, North Carolina, and so much 8th mile experience. That's what they run down there where he lives. Alex Hostler will join him at the starting line out of Canton, Illinois with a 71 model Camaro.
And that is a good race car, too. You see the guy out front of that car? If you may recognize him, that is Rob Flynn, formerly with Kenny Bernstein's Brandon Bernstein-driven Copart Top Fuel dragster, along with Mike Guger and a host of others in this Cohen converter machine of Hostler, taking on the other converter car for Lee Boy Quayne Stott.
Boy, Quayne Stott up on it. A dead straight run, 371, 198 miles per hour. I got to tell you, I love the second generation Camaro, but he had troubles there.
That was a nice run. I will tell you this, 371 for Quayne. And again, a lot of people said you could never make these converters work, but I'll tell you, once Larry and Mick Snyder made it over here, it became epidemic, if you will, and almost a must-have to put a converter behind one of these blown cars.
We'd love to hear from our fans. Go to Facebook.com and become a fan of Lucas Oil on the Edge. Then post your comments about this Lucas Oil on the Edge episode.
$50,000 on the line and that beautiful belt that goes along with it that we talked about just a little bit ago, Ken. We got some great matchups here in the semi.
And here's how the Lucas Oil ladder shakes down as they're working their way to the semifinals. One more time, Joshua Hernandez in that 57 Bel Air. And K.H. Altani with the 68 Camaro on the far side, of course, the Alanabi back machine.
He is the patriarch. He's the main guy. He is the owner of all the operations. Way overdue is Joshua Hernandez.
Oh! Both guys going towards the center line. Altani really scary close.
It's K.A. Belushi right there holding his breath. And look at the reaction time for K.H. Altani. And I got to tell you, Ken, I've watched this guy over the course of the last year that he just started driving. He's a naturally talented driver on that starting line. He's 00 all the time. But watch this thing go to the center stripe, and how he saved it, I don't know. But either way, Hernandez takes the win.
Scary stuff.
To race right here at the Motorplex and win this deal would be great. We got to be good on the tree and then making a great pass. We're setting it back up on the 61 lap. Maybe they go with 60 flat or something, and hopefully that'll be enough to hold him off.
So looking to clean up on him right at the starting line.
Yeah, I tell you what, this car, he has come out with this car this season and just dominated. And also one of the guys who drew a torque converter on board for the first time. And the madman with this Chevy Pro car just killing him.
When you roll up and turn on that second bulb, you better be ready to go. And he drives back around Quayne Stott as Stott got out on him by a bunch. Stott really fell off. He lost a 10th from the last round.
And look at Frankie, 208.49 miles an hour there in that run. Man, oh man, watch it in replay. Watch how good both cars leave the starting line, but most importantly, watch the Corvette on the back half of the track. That just means nothing more than horsepower. The Leroy car gets a little bit out of shape, but watch the top half of the Corvette. I mean, that thing was driving away for the win.
OTE will keep you on the edge of your seat with exciting racing, and you don't want to miss what we have in store for you later on in the show. Come on back.
You're watching Lucas Oil on the Edge.
This is drag racing at its finest. This is run what you brung. Very little rules. Most of the rules are here for just for safety. You got guys coming from all over the states, all over the world. And now we got Frankie Taylor, all Texas final in Texas on a Friday night. Couldn't be better. It's time to step up our game a little bit. We haven't been running the numbers that we probably should. We know that car's a low 60 car all day long. We all know that they're over there turning every knob on that thing to get it to go a little faster. So I'm pretty sure Jim Monty over there is turning the knobs on my car too. So it ought to be a really good final. My team's a bunch of volunteers over here, but we're having a lot of fun over here, and hopefully we can pull it out. Man, we have a bunch of beer over here. Come drink some beer with us as we pull this thing out. It's got to be a little better than I've been being on the tree, and you got to go A to B and hopefully go pretty fast. I don't race for the money, but this is going to help me pay the bills to help me to go for next year. This makes it a lot better. It makes my wife happy. Look at her, she's smiling like a, look at that. This is going to go a long way to helping us get back to zero, to get us back to neutral, and then hopefully maybe pay a little bit to my Snap-on man. Throw over a little bit of money too.
I'll guarantee one thing, if this is not a David versus Goliath story, nothing is. You got Jim Audie and all that team we talked about over there with the Bahrain 1 car. And then you got this Corvette, and you got Frankie and his wife and his brother Paul, and they got no real majors on this car, sponsorship-wise. As far as big tuners, it's Frankie and Paul, and that's it, baby. And there's Paul, his brother, right there pulling him up.
Well, and we heard Frankie talk about it. Frankie's got to get up on this light right here. He's going to have a shot at Hernandez. Last time he was 090. That's too late to get the job done here.
Yeah, you got to be 050, 040 or better no matter what happens here. Converter car, clutch car, far side.
Still got beat off there a little bit, but he's going to drive back around him and get the win. A solid reaction time at 035. You were talking about it. Hernandez in 012. You could see the small difference at the starting line, but it was Taylor who drove back around him.
And $50,000 richer than Taylor's biggest payday of their entire career happens right here on a Friday night in Ennis, Texas, baby. Watch it again in replay. The 57 Chevrolet Bahrain 1 car, the far side, if you're looking right side of your screen, will move around just a little bit right through there, head toward the wall. He'll get out of the throttle, and Frankie, they call him the Madman. We like to call him Open Trailer Taylor is your champion.
Dude, how about that? Oh, My boy Mike, Billy. Huh? How about that? Feel that? The car's been phenomenal. Jeffers built me a nice car. This is one of Jeffers', you know what I'm saying, babies here.
Sure.
And it's been extremely fast ever since we brought it out. You know, like I said, my brother and Billy, they've just been tuning the hell out of this thing. It's been bad, fast every lap. They stepped up to that, said they'd go 62, and they went 62 with the 1. Number 1 on the car. Yeah! We've had a killer year.
Can you imagine what it must feel like to speed down the 8th mile in 3.62 seconds at almost 210 miles per hour? This is definitely serious business, and you better believe that Madman Frankie Taylor will be riding this high for quite a while. Just because we have a champion crowned doesn't mean that this episode of OTE is finished. I promised you dueling monster trucks, and we're going to deliver them when we come back.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast is being brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. Geico Power Sports, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
We're in store for some great monster truck competition with the General Tire Thunder Drags. The first pair ready to do battle are Rammunition and Avenger. The winner goes on to the final round.
A brand new race course inside the Indy Mile for the Monster Truck Boys, and it's going to get crazy here today. The brainchild of event manager Eric Rolls and Greg Fuchs, the safety director. This course, pretty much 2 figure eights put together. We got 2 hard right-handers. We got 3 monster jumps, a nice hairpin left-hander, and then a drag race to the start-finish line. It's going to get crazy here inside the Indy Mile.
Welcome to Lucas Oil On the Edge. Now we take you to the motorsports capital of the world. Welcome to Indianapolis, Indiana, and to the 4-wheel Jamboree Nationals powered by Geico Power Sports. There's a lot of action that takes place here during the Jamboree, but Brian, we're all about one class here today.
Yeah, today it's all about monster trucks. Candace, Bigfoot, Dan Runty, the Avenger, and a host of others. On a pavement track with dirt jumps, it's going to be a riot. You know why? It rained like the dickens earlier. It's going to be tough on these drivers here today.
Here's a comparison. Both trucks get the same job done, but the monster truck weighs 10,000 pounds, does it with 2,000 horsepower. More importantly, to make the tight turns, the monster truck has rear steer to pull it off. Just some of the comparisons between a monster truck and a tough truck. The tough trucks are very cool. Just much, much smaller and lighter, a little more nimble than what we'll see here. But these guys know how to get it done. They make big power. Kohler on the far side with the Avenger. We'll line up next to the Rammunition. Kohler already a little out of shape, and it has rained out here, so it's going to be a bit tricky, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. These things are built to run on the mud or on the dirt more than anything, I should say. But a lot of rain as it's central Indiana here overnight and throughout the course of the day as the 57 Chevrolet tries to make the turn right there. As you mentioned, they got rear steer in these monster trucks, baby.
And the truck's looking pretty stable for this huge mile per hour. You typically are not happy up here driving this fast, and both guys trying to get them turned. Kohler really struggling.
Wow! He's going to go sideways over the hill. Rammunition will pick up the win, and that's Matt Nisman. And he'll go to the final round here once again, the semifinals. Watch the General Tire instant replay as the 57 Chevrolet machine of Jim Kohler goes way, way wide. Will lose the race right there.
Yeah, I think he was trying to drive it in deep and get the back end to kick out, but every time he hits the throttle, it transfers so much weight onto the back end, takes it off the front end. He had a hard time steering it and getting the truck to rotate.
The other thing you got to remember is that rear steer is not controlled by that front steering wheel. You got to have one hand on the wheel, another on a separate lever, and that's hard to deal with when both hands are so busy, Ken.
Absolutely right.
Bigfoot machine coming up, and it'll take on the beast of Bobby Holman.
Holman with the advantage at the starting line.
You can see even on this closed course how tough it is from the inside cockpit, the way these things want to move around. And right there's also a very good visual on what the rain has done to this racetrack.
Well, you can see right there, Bobby Holman missing the turn as he tried to get the truck to rotate as well. It is tough out here to get one turn, and he spins it completely around. It'll cost him the race.
Dan Runte will go to the final round, where he will match up with the Rammunition machine of Matt Dishman. So Bigfoot and Rammunition will make their way to the final round.
Here's a good look at our General Tire fan cam. Shay there with General Tire as well. Fans had a blast out here in Indianapolis, including those kids.
Here we go, guys, the finals in Monster Truck. Pretty much a David versus Goliath. Matt Dishman in Rammunition driving the same exact truck that his older brother Jeremy won Indy with 1 year ago. And of course, you can't say enough about Dan Runte. World champion in Bigfoot. Come down to these two. It's got to be cool.
That's a really, really old version of Bigfoot. There's been a lot of Bigfoot trucks come along after that one.
That's exactly what I was sitting here thinking. I'm trying to think the exact year of the machine that Runte is driving, but no question about it. Runte, one of the drivers in the category that's been with Bob Chandler, who's the guy who, as far as I'm concerned, again, you have to think is the godfather, if you will, of the monster trucks.
I agree, man. He kind of got the craze going. I believe it was back in 1975, and I don't think that truck is much newer than that.
Definitely will.
That might be an old steel body truck, I'll tell you, man. It's a good looking old ride.
I know one thing, Runte drives the late model Summit equipment machine pretty much these days that we actually see in other types of motorsports, not on flat pavement.
So Runte taking him to school, getting the job done here in the final round. Here's your Herculiner instant replay.
Pretty even off the starting line. Rammunition, your defending champion in the category. It was a different track, though, a year ago. These trucks actually started off on dirt, went to pavement. Of course, the dirt jumps were on the pavement as well. But at the end of the day, this baby is all Bigfoot, and Dan Runte were one of the earlier trucks inside of the fleet, taking the big win here in Indy.
We were talking earlier, and you were telling me that, we're struggling a little bit here at the Indy Mile, but when it came out today, it rained a little bit. This thing, Bigfoot, was bad fast, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. With bigger tires, all it does is makes it worse. But we got around there pretty good.
Do you have to make any adjustments? I mean, every pass, it looked like you guys would enter those turns differently.
Actually, we were. It's just breaking it down and adjusting to the dryness of the pavement. That was a lot of it, and it was starting to dry out, so you were able to pick it up a little more each time. But other than that, we really didn't do anything.
Guys, the crowd went crazy as Bigfoot wins here at Indy.
A lot of great racing action for you here today with Lucas Oil on the edge. Don't worry, we have plenty more to go before this season's over with. For Brian Olson, I'm Ken Stout. Remember, you're not living unless you're on the edge.